Very, very warm good morning to all the participants, students, faculty, and others who are joining us on this webinar with none other than Neil Bhoopalam, organized by School of Media, Film and Entertainment. This is going to be a session on careers in acting, and it will be, the session is being convened by the Dean of School, Professor Dr. Ritu Sood, and this session will be moderated by myself. I'm Dr. Amit Chawla, the head of Department Mass Communication at Sharda University. And without further ado, I would like to welcome our guest, our host, the heartthrob of everyone, the radio jockey, the VJ, the actor, the very famous Mr. Neil Bhoopalam is here. Thank you so much, Neil, for coming here.
Thank you, Dr. Amit Chawla, and big thank you to Dr. Ritu for making this happen. This chat, we were actually like 2 months से we've been connecting with each other and trying to get this done. And I'm so excited to be able to just be in the same space and the same time as everyone here, and especially yours today. I think now it's a little hard to get some sort of meaning in life. And these are the things, moment to moment, is just too beautiful to share with you. So thank you for that. Thank you very much.
Well, you need to believe me that everyone here is so enthralled to see you and hear you. And it's indeed a privilege and a proud moment for here. We all of us here at Sharda University that you are here
Thank
and
you.
at such a short span, such a short notice, you agreed for this
No,
webinar. It's a pleasure.
thank you to Sharda University. Big thank you. Big thank you.
Right. So I would like to inform all the participants here for some ground rules before we start the webinar. This is being attended by a lot many people online and on Zoom. So those who are here already, they need to know that you will not be allowed to unmute yourself, though you can, if you want, switch on your videos. If you have any questions for the guest, you can ask your questions on the chat window, and I shall be putting those questions to the guest. Obviously, I may not be able to put all of them. This is a disclaimer because I know that there are going to be lot many questions for Neil, and Neil is, of course, so famous. But I will not like to actually introduce Neil. It will be like showing Diya to the sun. So, so I would like just to touch upon here a few things that I got to know when I was doing my bit of study a little on
Go for it.
Neil, that Neil is an RJ. He started off as an RJ
Yes,
and has also worked in theater, on
yes,
stage, has
yes.
worked in obviously films. We know all that, and he has worked with television and also heartthrob on the film, the web series. Four More Shots is the recent most, I think, and the Riker case. I love that too. So
Thank you.
over to you, Neil. I would like you to start off the session, and already I can see about 40 people are here in Zoom and many more online. So please, the mic is all yours. Please take over.
Okay,
Wow.
before Neil comes,
Oh,
I
I'm
know
sorry.
people.
Yes,
Sorry,
please,
my bad,
please.
my bad, my bad.
No,
I
no,
forgot.
please.
I forgot the welcome address. I'm so sorry, my bad. I request our Dean Ma'am, Professor Dr. Ritu Sood, to start off, please.
Yeah, Neil, a big
Yes,
fan,
sir.
and
Thank
we've
you.
been watching. Oh, the little Neil.
This is
And
my job. It's not, it's a PG. So sorry. He's
oh,
just going
hello,
for his bath,
baby.
I think. This is Fateh. And thank
So
you for
sweet.
coming, Baba. You make sure you study at the university also, man. Yes. Yeah, yeah. Again, I'll explain
That's the
everything to
best
you.
part of getting these film stars in their home. We
Oh,
get a sneak
man.
peek into their lives. Neil, I'm sure all of us have watched all of your films and your web series and your latest FOMO shots, obviously, very well appreciated and very well taken. And I would like to welcome you on behalf of my school, School of
Thank you.
Media, Film and Entertainment, and Sharda
Yes,
University. And we are very glad that finally you could make it and be here and teach our young students what is life as a career. Thank you.
Wow. Yes, thank you very much. And that is a good. I'm glad because now this your introduction is going to help me a bit. The thing is, I've never really had much of an ambition or a goal or a maqsad to sort of head towards. And when I was about 19 in college, I studied the mass media. I was very keen on the mass media understanding. I studied advertising, so said I was working my way behind the camera. Theater sort of happened with Mr. Atul Kumar, who's originally from Delhi, but now is in Bombay. His home is there as well. So, dhire dhire, I realized that wow, this performance is really interesting. More so, more than the mass media, I was focused on stage, and I also met people, and I saw wow, yeah, this is like a whole different culture. They people work hard, they rehearse, they put up a show, people get entertained, people invest their money and their time. Most importantly, their time, because they travel to the theater to come and watch their show. Um, and there's a certain love, respect, community that is there. So I thoroughly enjoyed it, and every day was a celebration. So I said, "Wow, this is what I'd like to do, sort of in my life." And dhire dhire, the evolution of the media took place. Maybe by about the movie Dev D, which was 2008, 9 or something.
Mm.
That's when I had noticed there was a visible change, and you would also remember that there was a lot of like you didn't really have to be like outsider, insider. A lot of people who were wanting to be filmmakers and actors and directors were doing things. So that's the opportunity. I'm a product of the evolution of the mass media. Because the amount of opportunities I had at that space and time, a lot of my seniors, maybe 5 or even 10 years senior to me, did not have those many opportunities. So that's what it
Wonderful,
is.
wonderful. I can completely relate with that because I'm almost the same age. I also have a 3-year-old. I just told you.
Yes,
And
yes,
from Masscom, I also see that you have done your bachelor's in mass media. Very, very
that's
less
right.
people know this. Can you tell us about your journey as a student of bachelor's of mass media?
I um I had done commerce in my 11th and my 12th standard in Bombay. I think in Delhi it's a high school, but Bombay is considered like junior
Junior
college.
college, junior college.
So वहाँ पे I did commerce because I didn't know any better, like arts, commerce, science. I didn't have the aptitude for science. Arts had so much reading involved, and I'm a bit of a slow reader, and I make up for that in as an orator most of the time. And then this new course came about, mass media, Bachelor of Mass Media, which had come about 1 year prior to me signing up. So in Bandra National College is where I signed up for it. Got accepted. Thoroughly enjoyed. Our faculty was fantastic, just like yours. We had um, we had professionals teaching us, and the thing with the media is even your teachers they're cool people. You know, you have to have your finger on the pulse for the youth, because that's what the media is about. You need to know history and you need to know present and possibly sort of predict what the future of the media is going to be. So I thoroughly enjoyed that, and I was a radio jockey when I was in my second year of college,
Hmm.
senior
Hmm.
college. That was great fun too. I finish a lecture, catch a bus, go to the studio. I was there for 6 hours every day. I do my show, then come home, complete my assignments for college the next day. It was the busiest I had ever been in my life. Uske
Well, you
baad
are a true
everything was good.
inspiration because I always keep on telling my students that you should not
Right.
be just sitting idle at home. You
No,
should
sir.
be
You're right. Thank
engaged in
you.
something. Hmm.
Yes.
So, I'm just curious. Did the theater come first or
Yes.
the radio?
Absolutely. No, no. Correct, correct. Radio came first.
Radio came
Radio
first.
came first.
All right. So, from your college days, I mean, you started,
Yes.
as you said, with radio jockeying in Radio Mirchi, and
Yes.
you were given three major shows, if I remember correctly. One was, if I'm not mistaken, called College Se Canteen Tak. Hmm?
Yes.
College Se
Yes.
Canteen Tak became very famous, no? And there was
Yes.
one Baat Ban Jaye, and
Baat
also the
ban gayi.
Sunday mornings.
Sir, they made me work every day of the week. Nichod ke rakha. I was getting like stipend I was getting, but it was great fun. Yeah. Like and then I used to borrow my brother's bike also. He had one little thing, and on the Sundays I would borrow the bike and go all the way to. If you remember, if you know Bombay properly, then from Andheri to Lower Parel I would go.
Hmm.
Um, Subah.
Hmm.
And Baat Banjai was good because it was a call-in show, like a interview show. So, and I thoroughly enjoy chatting and conversing. So even Zoom calls like this, when it's happening now, it's a familiar territory for me because I tap into that DJ wala, RJ wala avatar.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
So I don't feel too conscious, but I thoroughly enjoy these calls.
But you are a great fan of music yourself, so
Yes,
I'm
sir.
very sure. I mean, playing music on demand, and people, you always love talking to people. I'm very sure you would have enjoyed that. Any other things that you would like to talk about? Because I'm very sure many of my students, because we have got a community radio here in Sharda University, and they
Wow.
are aspiring to become radio jockeys. We are giving them training here in Sharda University, and we
Yes,
have got
sir.
this ShardaTV, which is very recently launched by the students. They are
Awesome,
getting this
awesome.
hands-on training kind of a thing in our
Right.
And Neil, we also have Sharda community radio here behind my
yeah
back.
that yeah.
Fantastic.
So
Wow, it's very powerful. Radio, na, even if virtual reality takes over, like becomes very difficult, there is something about just the quality of radio,
hmm,
which gives a level of trust, as you know, since you studied the mass media, and so it's just trust. People become your best friend more than a movie or a visual media.
yes,
So
of course, the radio is much more personal. It is
yes,
something what one can connect to. They can
yes,
always have it on, and that's
yes,
something really I love, because I also started in radio and loved it.
yes.
That days, of course, those days we were Yuva Vani and All India Radio and all that.
Right. Oh wow. Original OG.
OG, that's
OG.
right. That's right. That's right. So, I would like you to share some tips. I mean, for people who want to become aspiring, maybe who are aspiring to become radio jockeys or radio
Yes.
presenters. What do you think is the main important most trait that one should carry if they want to have a career in radio?
So I think it is a test which I had got from one of my seniors at the radio station. And she said, write down what personality you want to portray
Hmm.
because people can't see you, right? So what they hear, like, what is the personality that you want to portray? And it was very difficult to write it down. Okay, is it humor? Is it do I have, you know, and for me at that time at least, it was just like to keep everything light, to be humorous. So, um, so I think that exercise is what is necessary. And what is it that you want to? Yeah, it's very simple. Just what is it that you want to share and say? Uh,
How important is reading, and maybe more important, is about knowing about things in this trade, of basically radio.
the more you know, the more jokes you can crack. the
True.
the more you know, the more you can connect with people. You know, I very truthfully have become a reader much later in my life. For the past maybe 2.5, 3 years, I now read every day, maybe 4 or 3 books a day. I mean, like different genres. It is very important because also everything is learned behavior. Anybody who has children at home would know that if you read, you can see the syntax formation or grammar. And I don't think you need to be right with grammar based on what, because the more colloquial you can be and And we also borrow so much from different, you got Hindi, English, Gujarati, Punjabi, Bengali, and amongst your friend circles, and everybody's got a different speech rhythm. And that's what I like. We are walking, talking percussion instruments.
True,
And
absolutely.
most of your friends also, when you think back, you got some good vibes from them. That's because
Hmm.
of the way they sound. You know?
True, absolutely. And
Yes.
you mentioned about the language here.
Yeah.
Having a control over language, maybe it be Hindi, English, Gujarati,
Mhm.
Tamil, Telugu, English, whichever.
Right.
huh?
Right.
I think you have a great command on language and wonderful,
Thank you, sir.
modulation skills and how you can.
Diction is very good.
Yes,
Diction is
diction is something that is
amazing, amazing.
amazing with you.
That I trained in theater. That I would credit to the theater team.
Okay, so I would like to
Mhm.
hear about your theater experience because less people may also know that you
Yeah.
have worked in so many theater and
Yeah.
stage shows, including
Yes.
Rajat Kapoor's Hamlet and Noise Off,
Uh,
Beyond Therapy, Insulting Audience, Trestle at the
right.
Public Creek. I mean, so many of them, and they have been. So I was just reading about them, and I was so
Right.
enthralled actually. Wonderful.
Yeah.
So could you just share about your journey of theater? And how
Yes.
theater came to you, or maybe you went to theater.
No, sir. I think you said it right the first time. Theater came to me.
Okay.
It was on my path. The day the radio jockey said, "Okay, Tata, bye bye," I said, "ठीक है, मैं जा रहा हूँ." No, it was quite loving, but I wanted to enjoy my. Uh, they they wanted. See, I come from a South Indian and an Anglo-Indian background. My dad is South Indian. My mom's from Kolkata. Anglo-Indian from Kolkata. So their Hindi is really bad.
Mhm. But
Pulling,
your Hindi
cleaning.
is great. Actually, you are from Hyderabad, right? Originally.
Maybe. Whoa, that's wrong. That's Wikipedia is lying to us.
I
I'm
know
born and raised in
Wikipedia
Bombay.
can be. So you were born in Bombay.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Oh, I didn't know
Right
that.
next to Mehboob Studio, which only
Oh,
recently I've started using this.
oh wow,
That's
wonderful. What
true.
a
That's
journey,
right.
man. So, theater, you started with Rajat Kapoor only, or did you do some more
With
films?
Atul Kumar, Rajat Kapoor, they're the same sort of friend
Yes.
circle, and with Atul Kumar.
Hmm.
So there was so my college was in Bandra, and then I used to go to the radio station. College was sort of in the center, then home was this side.
Hmm.
So once I finished with the radio job, after about 6 months, I worked with them, and I was on air for about 6 months. I came back to college uh, that day, and there were these auditions going on and theater workshops. So I said, "Can I participate?" So एक audition किया, and halfway through, Atul Kumar stopped me and he said, "You know what? You're in." So I was like, "Wow, thanks, man." तो वहाँ
Wonderful.
से
Which play was this?
voices. It was actually we went to Mauritius also with it. We managed to travel international.
Wow,
Sir,
wonderful.
all everything I owe to the well theater.
Well, wonderful. But theater performances, I'm very sure, are different from how you face a screen and act for the screen.
Yes,
So, could you just tell us that how
yes,
theater was, so intriguing, or you say that everything you owe to theater, and
yes.
how is that so? Why is that so? Because people really don't know much about theater these days.
No, it's theater has a certain like you have to be a little more bombastic and you have to little punch it. Uh,
Hmm.
it's like if a cricket analogy, you need to try and hit some fours and sixes, in the theater. And I don't mean overact, but you just have to be a little more dynamic. But with the camera, it's so close, like they can see so close to you.
Hmm.
If you think it, they can see it. But वहाँ पे stage पे you need to do a little more with the body.
Sure. And
So yeah,
I mean, is the fact that you get multiple takes in front of camera, but not in theater, also
mhm.
playing a very important role in grooming you as an actor?
Yes, it's a tad. It is safer. It is safer, and as they say, theater is an actor's medium, and film is a director's medium. So anything with camera, once you do your job, you're sort of, then the editor will take over and listen. But when you're on stage, then you are your own editor.
Hmm.
For example, if you sense that the audience is 50, then you need to quickly adapt your delivery to either tighten it up or get their attention, or maybe you are doing something, wrong if you're not sort of listening. So these are the things which you can play with in the theater.
Hmm. But you very well mentioned about being impromptu and improvising on stage.
Yes,
Has
yes.
it ever has it ever happened? That you have a script in hand, but you had to
Yeah.
divulge it from it a bit.
Audio connected.
Yeah, I sort of had to. I mean, one big mistake happened when my shoe flew off. So I had to try and adapt that, but it was very evident to this thing. I was supposed to sort of do a little kick, and it just my shoe slipped off.
Okay.
So that's the scene that sort of threw me quite a bit.
Hmm.
I have one in one Shakespeare play. I blanked out, so वहाँ पे I couldn't. I couldn't. It was very hard to improvise in that text.
I can
But
understand. I can understand. Well, there are a lot of people who have that stage fright per se, and they
yes,
are very they're not very confident in facing live audience in front of them, and so many of them. What do you think should be the way in which they can improve themselves to face the live audience?
thank you for asking me this question. And I'm afraid I'm going to take a bit of the romance out of this ideology.
Hmm.
Baat ye hai, and I've learned this only about 4 years ago, that the brain has got right next to the stem, right where the mushroom is. On either side, there are two almond shape and size things, which are your fear receptors,
Hmm.
right? And like everyone's got a thumbprint,
Hmm.
हर किसी का fear receptors trigger a different fear. So, for example, I can't do paragliding for a living,
Right.
right? It's too scary for me.
Right.
But a paraglider cannot step on stage. It's too scary for them. So I'm sorry to break it down to the science of it. I still feel nervous. It's not कि डर नहीं है, but I can overcome it because those fear receptors are not so much in that department. Because I don't mind people laughing at me and saying, "Are this guy is stupid." That's okay. I don't feel like, oh wow. But there are some people who get very conscious about, wow, what is another person gonna think? I'll become the laughing stock. But there's one thing I learned in my mass media, that nobody is perfect. And ulta, if people see that you are as human as they are, they can relate to you. That you don't have to be this cool, 100% chakachak,
Hmm.
perfectionist all the time. It's okay. You have your flaws and you wear it very proudly.
Wonderfully said. Wonderfully said. I think that is a big takeaway for all my students who are attending this. That
Yes.
don't be afraid. You and no one in this world can be absolutely perfect. Just take what it is and accept what it is. Well, I would like to also ask you about your opinion.
Yes.
Honestly, tell us. These
Yes.
lot of platforms are coming these days. Where people can perform on open mic sessions. There are
Mm-hmm.
there are platforms where they can perform on YouTube. A lot of others
Mm-hmm.
which are available there. How they
Yeah.
can tap the full potential of these?
That's an interesting question because I feel now that you've given us an opportunity to talk about it, because I myself am thinking about it.
Wonderful,
I
wonderful. We
myself
love to
thinking
see
about
you like
it.
that.
So there is we haven't tapped into its full potential. I feel there is a scope for it, and like you said, I think it will be a combination of, as you said. One needs to read and encourage and enrich their own being and bheja,
Hmm.
and they must understand what are the different mediums are. Like
True.
you said, if you say there's radio, then there's YouTube, there is something else, something else. And I do not believe that there is anything that's original. We sort of like mix and match everything that we already know. So you
Hmm.
could see whatever you like. If you like thrillers, then maybe you could make stories, about a 5 minute thriller and put a series out. If you like Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton kind of stuff, which is what I'm a huge fan of, you can do that and start putting that up. And I feel we must eventually also focus on virtual reality. I believe we should educate ourselves and then slowly inch our way into that medium and that munch, so to speak. Um, but it's we need to. I don't have a सीधा answer for it, but it needs to be a bit of trial and error, sir, and some process time. ऐसा नहीं है that as we get on a medium, it needs to be great. It's okay. You can grow slowly with it.
Hmm. Wonderful, wonderful. So, Neil, we'll take some questions here. I've got 2 or 3 questions which students are asking to me on chat window. Students can ask questions on chat window. Someone is saying that you're not audible. Himanshi, we are audible. You need to connect your audio, please. Um, Ashish Kumar is asking, after completing 3 years of film and television from Sharda University, which will be the institution for acting course? All right. Maybe Ashish, you are not aware of it. We have already started a program called BA in Acting and Modeling. But beyond Sharda, if you want
Fantastic.
to know, I'm very sure Neil can help you. Neil.
Practice is see the what happens is when you manage to have a like a laboratory work where you have like a university, it becomes a great it's a great process to learn. And the more you practice, the better you will get. You will also reduce the fear that you have. And then, while you're doing that as well, you must try and connect and sort of work on the field of like either plays or assist something on a shoot. So, as much as the more you do, the better you get at it. It's as simple as that.
Hmm. Ashish, I would like to just add to Neil's
Please.
statement here.
Mm.
Uh, there is also a very good program which I'm aware of, which is run by FTII Pune, and that is
Right.
specialty in acting. A lot of good actors of the film industry have come from there, so possibly you may want to try that too. Well, I see another question which is coming from Aklima, and Aklima is asking: is there any priority given to actors like Rajkumar Rao who are trained actors, or people who have got skills can join? So I think you'll be best to answer that. So people who are trained actors versus people who are untrained but with talent.
Well, training always gives you an advantage, but it also depends on what kind of story is being said and what character is being put up. If you're making a film where you need someone who, if you're a director and you're like you need a certain rawness that you believe will come from a person who is not trained, then that's what you would take.
Sure.
Uh, so there is no it's a collective sort of decision making process which sort of stems from the director. um, so there's no hard and fast thing, but I feel it's better to try and practice and try and train yourself.
True. I think Professor Ritu Sood has a question to ask, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Yes, yes, yes. Neil, I have
Yes,
seen
ma'am.
that most of the actors are now shifting to web series. You
Ji.
yourself starred in very bold web series, Fomo Shots, and for an Indian platform, I think
Right,
this was one of the very bold series, and obviously a
right,
very
right,
trendsetter. So,
right.
what do you say about censorship in OTT platform? Is there a censorship, or is there a need for a censorship?
No, I do not believe there's a need for censorship in content that you are actively choosing to click on,
Okay.
right? Because you are making the impetus to download that app, open it, schedule time, read the synopsis, and then click episode one.
Hmm.
Right. I believe possibly there could be censorship when there are mediums like old school television where it sort of operates like
Absolutely. When it's a linear
So
thing,
yes,
when
yes,
people are
correct,
just watching what they have been
right,
shown. Yeah.
right. And I totally understand, ma'am, what you mean by bold in this context. And sometimes what happens is when a certain independence is there on a medium, initially there's a bit of excessiveness,
Hmm.
which I feel in time will sort of balance out.
Hmm.
You know, so I'm a believer of less is more. So I don't think one can always hint at what is happening. Like I I'm not a fan of watching a lot of violence.
Hmm.
That for me is like if it's an excessive lovemaking scene, I'm all right with that. But violence is upsets me tremendously. I can't sleep, so if I see that, so it's a balance, and I think you're right. I feel censorship also is something which would be a personal thing. Like as a maker, what is it that you feel you wanted? Like a Quentin Tarantino show, for instance. Sometimes he really goes like he pushes it to
Hmm.
such an extent that it becomes bizarre.
Hmm.
Which is interesting. Then it becomes fake. It's not so realistic. Also, Coon is like coming on. Like, then you're like, ठीक है, ये तो acting है,
Very,
So
very interesting. Very well said, actually. You know,
Neil, also,
yes,
one
ma'am.
thing I want to ask you is that many
जी,
of the students here, because they are in media and I've seen most of them, they want to turn into actors and successful actors. Yeah, they have. And believe
yeah,
me, it's a dream. So, what kind of, see, for acting, it's Mahanagri, Mumbai,
yeah,
right? Because Delhi we have, because for Delhi we have news and everything. Delhi is a news hub. Mumbai is
right on.
the hub for actors. So
G,
what kind of a struggle does one have to go through? Because these kids, they enthusiastically they go and take the first flight or first train to Mumbai and
right.
go there and start struggling and keep appearing for auditions. So what is the correct way of approaching?
hmm.
Beautiful question to ask at this point of time in where the world is at.
Exactly.
Um, पुराने ज़माने में, not even so पुराने, like 1940s,
Hmm.
your actors would be singers, they
Hmm.
Hmm.
would be directors, they would be writers.
Hmm.
Excuse me. And that is what we need to train. If you're asked if there's anything I would like to realize for myself also through this session is that now we need to pull up our socks because you have to be good in all departments.
Hmm.
I understand the Kira for acting, because it's nice, it's fun, and I believe one must do it. But maybe you could be what Woody Allen was. He would write his stuff and then he would perform in it. Charlie Chaplin, they were from set. They would get involved in set designing also. So उस तरह के processes, and like you said, it can only come if you seriously take it up as a student of, you study it, you understand it, and you're like, okay, now that I know all this, and now that these mediums are available, how can I contribute to
Hmm.
it? So it's not just, and I also feel if people do come to Bombay I'm blessed because I'm born and raised in Bombay. My parents shifted there. uh, but a lot of people come to Bombay, they leave their parents' house, and you get a lot of support from your parents, or your ancestral house. So, agar aap aa rahe ho, you must fix a schedule. Okay, every 3 months or 4 months, I will go back. Go
Hmm.
back for a birthday or a holiday. You recalibrate and come back again. You must plan it. You must understand, like one tree, a coconut tree will take those many years only to grow. You can't say like, "Arey jaldi karo, jaldi karo, jaldi karo." नहीं होगा. A lot of people have come. They've said, "I told my parents like 1 year I will work hard in Bombay for 1 year." I'm like, dude, where did you come up with that time meter?
Hmm.
How do you know how long it takes? You know, and everything takes at least 10 years. Even in the corporate, you need to borrow from some structure.
Mm.
If you want a promotion in the corporate world, you got to ragada for at least 3 to 4 years minimum and hope to get a promotion. So, like that, it will be in this also.
Absolutely.
So all the students who are listening to this, you must attend classes.
Gee, of course.
No need to tell me that I am an actor. हम तो actor बनेंगे. You
Gee,
better
no.
attend all the classes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you learn from your people around you only, no? The
Yeah.
more behavioral tricks you can pick up, the more things you don't like also. You see somebody and you're like, I don't like that style. It's still a realization. Okay,
Hmm.
acha bhai, I will choose to project it in a different manner.
Hmm. But I'd like to spill some beans here, Neil.
Go for it.
In,
Go
in,
for it.
in, in, in one of your interviews, you said you were not a good student. You had very bad
Yes.
grades.
Very bad.
And,
Yes.
but you also mentioned that you had got very good rapport with your teachers and you used to chat with them a lot. Huh?
Oh my God, Mr. Chawla, God, bro, you have
Yeah.
really.
Sorry, I've done some research. No,
You are you're a detective, yeah. Also moonlighting.
No. A journalist or filmmaker.
Super duper, yes. And this, thank you very much. I appreciate the work and the end time you spend. Makes me feel special. Yes, sir. I'm good with people. I have I like people. I'm a people's person, and I also like my own space. So sometimes I just sit quietly and sort of remove all the avatars. All that was largely because of just being a bad reader. It's not really dyslexia, but I had this like sort of predictive text. I would misread things. So I had to go back and reread. Which is why then I also, based on what I'm doing, I sometimes need to hear my lines. So I'll record it or I'll get someone to read and help me with my lines. Once it's in, then I know it. But the process of taking it from the page and getting it takes much longer than an average person.
Well, I think I should mention this. There is a student of mine who has worked with you in the television series 24. His name is Pranchu Jura.
Yeah.
And he was working in the web series 24 with Anil Kapoor, where he was
Yes.
one of the, yeah. So I saw him, I've taught him and monitored him very closely. He was one of those people who not attend classes regularly, but he was there in the campus. He was talking to people. He was interacting with them, observing them, participating in all of things. I mean,
Right.
if there is a event organized, yes, he'll be there. If there is a competition being organized, he'll be there. If there is a debate happening, he'll be there. If he's
Same.
he'll be acting, he'll be doing everything
Right.
of that sort.
Right.
That really
Right.
helped him. And that's what
Yes.
one tip I would like to give from a academician's perspective to all the future actors and performers, that you must be participative and inquisitive about things. That is something that really helps. At
Yes,
least,
and you should
Yes.
also attend
Absolutely.
classes also.
yes, that is
Yes.
important. That
Attendance is
is
compulsory.
important.
I'm going to start attending classes.
Great.
All right, so I'll just take this discussion forward a bit. And
Yes.
there is a question which relates to one of my points of discussion here. There is a question about nepotism. So, in an article on Indian Express, April 16th, you mentioned about nepotism, that industry is quite fair to outsiders, and you gave your examples. And also, you mentioned quotes and quotes that you should not worry about nepotism.
Yes.
What's your take on it? What would like to share about that?
Yes, I'm glad I was able to have the presence of mind to answer fairly decent at that time. And I still stand by my point of view. I mean, everybody knows the world based on their journey and what they experience, right? So that's my understanding of this world and of this industry, because it has made me travel the world. It has given me a fairly decent lifestyle. Um, it has made me meet very interesting people. Uh, so I would I would be disrespecting that if I said that this industry and this trade of entertainment
Hmm.
is not up to the mark,
Hmm.
you know. And it's like any other industry.
Hmm.
This is the show. This is show business, man.
Hmm. That's true.
It's business. That's why the word is attached to show.
Hmm.
This is
That's
show
true.
business, and like any, like, even if you had any business and your children or your nephews or nieces or your younger brother or your younger sister wants to get into that business, obviously it is your duty to give them a a platform. Now, whether they prove their steel and sustain it, that is up to their sort of caliber. Yeah, but you can't be disrespectful, I feel, to an industry. And I've not faced it.
You have not
I
faced it. You have
No,
not
sir.
faced
I mean, like, I understand the concept of nepotism, but I'm also कि मतलब ठीक है यार. People who are three generation mass media,
it. Hmm.
obviously they will prioritize their friends and family over it. It is the right human thing to do, dude.
Hmm. I agree with you because see, one thing that I also learned while we were discussing this topic with Mr. Vivek Vaswani, there was a
Hmm.
media conference we had, conducted last month,
Last month.
and Mr. Vivek Vaswani was one of the panelist, keynote speaker. He said a very interesting thing, a very important thing.
Very,
He said
very.
that why these people are given priority is not because they are son or daughter of XYZ actor. No, they are given priority because these guys know the trade inside out, because they have been
क्या बात?
nurtured from
Of
from
course.
from the grassroots
Yeah.
level. they've
Yes.
they've been born and brought up in that environment. That's
Yes.
the reason they are being given some kind of priority,
Right.
and I really like that point.
Are,
Yeah,
thank
and
you for
rest
sharing that,
is
Gene.
and rest is up to you, your performance, your acceptance by the audience. You're given a chance, but your first film is super hit, your second is a flop, then what do you do?
Correct. Correct. Absolutely. And yeah. Yes, of course. Arey, but this is it. This is how life is. Yeah. Sometimes, like, even though I'm saying this, I'm sure one day I'll be like, Arey, kya hai yaar? Nepotism hai. Chalega. Then the next day I won't feel like that.
Hmm.
It's cool. It's ups
as
and
you
downs.
as you said, you have to adopt and
Yes.
accept.
Yes,
Okay,
of course.
Neil,
Ji.
tell me one thing. If you're doing a very strong character,
Hmm.
how much time does it take to get into that character and come out of the character?
It takes about 30 days, 30, 40 days. If I'll answer from stage perspective initially.
Hmm.
जब मैं rehearse करता हूँ, and sometimes what happens is, like, if the writing is good, thank you for asking this. If the writing is good, as opposed to me trying to get something, I imbibe from the writing. So with the repetition, you realize that you're getting certain behavior which you never thought because of the writing.
Hmm.
I don't think things leave you. I think it sort of like stays with you, inside you, in a certain manner, which is what enriches. Which you see an older actor, right? Even if they don't talk too much, there's something very radiant about them.
Hmm.
It's because in one life you are leading many lives,
True.
and that's the true maksad, no?
Hmm.
To, like, maximize this one life. So, so the fortunate are those actors and performers, because one person is playing so many different parts in a span of 30 to 40 years, and it affects you, and it adds to your entire being.
Hmm.
So, which is the
Absolutely.
most difficult role you've done till now?
I played, at least what comes to mind is, one was way back, the voices. Remember, we were chatting about the first.
Uh-oh. What happened?
I think, for all participants who are joining us from different parts of the country, it is raining very, very heavily here in Delhi and NCR.
Yes.
entire. I've just got some calls and messages, and they were just telling me that it is really heavy, very
Yeah, it's
very heavy
very
rain.
heavy.
So there is a possibility that because of the rains or something, the network got disconnected. Maybe he would join us shortly. Yeah, he's here. He's here. I'll just one second. Is he here, Neil? Can you hear me? I can still see him in the participants list. Just give me a moment, please.
Yeah, I'll just connect you.
Yeah. No, 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 no. I think he got disconnected. I cannot see him now. Once he's here,
He must be coming back.
he must be joining back. So we should give some, liberty, and they are also human beings, and they have got internet connection problems just like you and me. But till the time he is coming back, I would like to tell you about Neil a few important things. Now, Neil, we all know that he has worked in Four More Shots, and he has worked in No One Killed Jessica and 24 and lot many others, but very few people know that Neil started his career with a movie in 2006 called Offshore, and there was this another
He's here. He's here.
yeah, he's here. So while he's about to connect back, I was Neil, I was just telling them about your movie Offshore, and
Yes.
another movie called
Neil,
Dil
your
Deke
mobile,
Dekhe.
your mobile. You need to.
Yeah, so if you could,
Yeah, perfect.
that's better, much better, much better. So I was just telling them about your movie Dil Deke Dekho and Offshore in 2006.
Yes, sir.
So
I cried in one Dil Dekhe Dekho के end में. So sorry, did I interrupt you?
no, 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 no,
Were
no,
you
no,
about to say?
absolutely, it's fine. Come on, Neil, it's
The
your.
the power cut happened, hence the internet died, and then I ran. You can see my hair. So also got some water. So yeah.
Fine.
Mm. So should we chat for 10 more minutes? What's the scene?
Yes,
How
please.
No,
long?
we have
Yeah,
Yes, yes, please.
as much
As you
as you can
talk.
spare, as much as you can.
dude, that'll go on for 3 days. Then I'm still looking forward.
Okay, 10 more minutes. 10 more
All
minutes.
right. I'm very
I'm
sure
very
people are
excited.
very eager to listen to you, Neil, and so at least I
No,
am. And of course, we like to hear about your, journey through the films and through the web series. But I have one very important question to ask, which is kind
Wow.
of, an
please.
add-on to what Ma'am was asking about the characters and the roles that you play.
Absolutely.
Now, I have seen and I have
Correct.
observed is that you are very selective about your work,
Button?
and your most
Correct.
popular work has been NH10, No One Killed Jessica, or Four More Shots. I mean,
Yes.
these all works were very women centric, and you found a very
Correct.
apt place for yourself and your character in those films. So, how I would like to ask you, how difficult is is it to make your presence felt in a character or a role where the attention is more towards someone else, possibly women. I'm not just pointing
So,
towards women.
no, no, cool, cool. Um, it is. I mean, that's where the training and everything comes into play. Because even if you have maybe one or two scenes in an entire film, how do you make the most of it? How do you understand what is the story about? How do you understand what your director wants from you? So I think it's just a matter of really settling down and being very present at the time of delivery. And when you have home, I love homework. I think I find it very interesting. Like I'll read a scene to different kinds of music. I'll read a scene in different spaces or different times of the day. And dire dire, you don't force ideas, but something sort of clicks. And you could choose not to use anything once you're on set or once you're at the theater,
We see here.
but I think it's just a matter of trying to be present and trusting what needs to be done. It's
Mhm.
not more. It's not so much of your sort of output, but it's absorption and then sort of propping
Understandable.
it up. Propping
Understandable.
up a
Yes,
performance.
absolutely
Yeah.
understandable. But when we say about the some of these films which were made on a cause or on a very important event, like I'm now talking about No One Killed Jessica. Now,
Yes,
yeah, it was a very powerful film and commendable
yes,
acting by both Vidya Balan and by Rani Mukherjee.
yes,
And
fantastic.
finding your place where people are such strong characters and such strong actors, and you know,
Yes,
you
yes.
feel a little scared as an actor that they will take all the attention and you possibly will not be, your
I
work
think
will not be.
I think that's when you want to show off as much as you can. But
No, but
but
one thing that I would like to tell all audience here. Now,
right.
one thing I absolutely love about Neil is that he's the most humble human being I've met in a long time. One of the most
Thank
humble
you.
actors, performers that I've met in a very long time now. And as I was speaking to you, Neil, just before this interview or before this
Yes,
webinar or
on the
between
phone.
this
Yeah.
session, it feels like just I'm talking to one of my friends here, and it's a trait, it's a quality you all should adapt. It's something that you should learn from me.
Be
Thank
grounded.
you so much. Gee, I'd like to thank my parents for that. They started it off.
Neil, what
They
are the
shaped it.
upcoming projects that we look forward to?
There are a couple of releases actually. There's Netflix has a pretty quirky show called Masaba Masaba,
Okay.
based on Masaba Gupta's life.
Okay.
It's directed by Sonam Nair. She has a fantastic sense of humor, and yeah, that's pretty much that's one of the things. The other stuff is sort of being worked on, and but that's the most recent one that's going to come out.
You're
And
working on a project with the Drishyam films, if I'm not mistaken, very recently, right?
Yes, sir. And if you're friends with Rishyam, please connect me back again. There is one day shoot left. One day
Oh
shoot,
God, oh
and
God,
it
oh
was
God.
clashing. They said, "Can we shoot last year?" And I was like, "Man, there was too much." They really wanted a. I'm very fond of them. They wanted a like a double. Like basically, I had to shoot for some. I can't remember what I was shooting for, but I was shooting in the day, and they said, "Can you do that night shoot? Like finish in one set and then come?" And I know there are some artists who can do it, but I'm like, I begged and said, "Listen, I'm so sorry, but it's against my entire being.
Hmm.
I can't operate without rest.
Hmm.
It will not be good for this thing." So anyway, there's one day shoot left. The rest of
Well,
the movie is done.
okay, Neil, to conclude,
Gee,
how's life post COVID?
wow, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful question. Life post COVID makes you think a lot.
And
It makes you understand that bhai, um, we are like ants and cheaty. Um, it's a good time, and it's the best of times, and it's the worst of times. Like Charles Dickens had said, for another calamity. Ma'am, I don't know what to make of it. It's just like being at sea. And not very long ago, one of my, like 4 days ago, one of my very close friends, Siddhant Karnik, his father passed on, 4G man, and he passed on because COVID got the better of him. So it just sort of has shaken me up, and all of us, we are all feeling this all over the world. But having said that, I think it is all about choices. And given the circumstances, what best choices can we make at this time? Little thought must be put into it. Not too much, don't stress about it, but just a little.
I think very well said. I think it was very intriguing to listen to you, and I hope we could meet you in person sometime when the COVID lockdown is over. We'd like to
Yes, sir.
invite you here at Sharda University, and my students
I'd
and
love
myself,
to.
and
I'd be
on behalf
honored.
all my faculty,
Gene,
on my staff, on behalf of everyone here at Sharda University, I invite you, Neil, for being here
thank
at
you very
Sharda
much.
University sometime once this lockdown
Thank
is
you.
over.
But I feel like I'm in your presence already. So
Well,
I feel like
well,
I'm
I
already
told you.
sitting with you. So
I told you
thank you.
you are very human. You're very humble, no? You're very humble about that. Yes,
he's an
yes.
actor. He's an
Thank you.
actor.
No, no, no. He's a
Nay,
good
this is the
actor. He's a
truth.
good actor. All right. With that, before we conclude the session, there is a small little thing, a custom that we do.
Sure.
I would request all the participants in this room to please turn on their cameras if they can. We'll take, actually, when it's a physical presence, we take a group picture with all the audience. But
Yeah, 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 yeah.
because this is a virtual thing, we'll take a screenshot
Right.
in the gallery view. So I request all my students and staff and faculty members who can please turn on your cameras so that we can take a group shot. Also, at the same time, I have been seeing a lot of queries regarding admissions here in the chat window. I'm not addressing them because for
Right.
admissions, you must write to admissions@sharda.ac.in, admissions@sharda.ac.in, and this is something that is not exactly related to admissions only. So I'll keep it to that. For any other information, of course, you are most welcome to visit our campus at Sharda University Greater Noida campus. We also have a campus in Kazakhstan, uh, and that too is operative and from the last year. And you can visit us for that. Now that everyone is there and their cameras are on, I will be taking the screenshot in exactly 5 seconds. So you can say cheese, cheese, and that's it. Thank you. I just taken the group
Thank you,
shot
thank you,
and I'll just share it with you also, Neil. And thank you
please.
everyone for joining us, and specifically thank you, Neil, for sparing time and being here amongst all the students who want to make their career in acting, and not just in acting. You are a great human being, and you just gave some very important tips for others to follow, and I'm so grateful for you to spare time, and to Dean ma'am, so that that
Yes,
she could bring you to this platform. Thank you
yes,
so much, Ritu
yes.
ma'am. Thank you so
Thank you,
much,
thank you.
Neil. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Neetu, for coming and finally seeing you virtually.
Yes, thank you,
Thank
thank you, Ji. I,
thank
I hope we'll pick up conversation. I get emotional with goodbyes, so we'll
Okay.
just pick up conversation again. So
Okay, fine. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so
see you,
much,
see you.
everyone.